Welcome back. Tonight we're focusing on the fine print of a new privacy policy affecting WhatsApp users. The free messaging service was previously bought by Facebook, and Facebook will now be able to access the information of WhatsApp users. Should you be worried about your privacy? To discuss, we're joined by the MD of Worldwide Works, Arthur Goldstuck. Arthur, great to have you with us. So I use WhatsApp. The other day I saw a privacy policy, a new one come up, and I guess, like many people, I'm lazy. I didn't read it. What does it actually say about Facebook and its access of some information?
Good evening, Francis. Well, even if you had read it, it wouldn't have given you a really clear picture of what you're giving away. It was a lot like when you visit almost any news website these days. You've got to click a button that says you agree that cookies will be used to track you. So almost anywhere you go online today, you are being tracked, and your surfing activity or your surfing habits are being aggregated. In other words, a picture is being put together of how you behave online, or rather where you go online. We don't know what you're actually doing when you go there. Yeah. But then what he's done with that information is that it is used to help advertisers target you based on your previous information or activity. And a good example of that is you call up an app that's free, for example, but that every now and then it throws up an ad that you've got to view in order to carry on using the app. And that ad will often carry adverts or content that relates to a purchase that you made or a search that you made on a completely different site, on a website, or that you searched for on Google, for example. So in effect, this is what Facebook wants to do with your WhatsApp activity now.
So WhatsApp won't have the ads, but it'll help Facebook. I mean, we know they can already target you based on who's in your network, who's in your contacts, but now it becomes even more refined.
Yes, very much so. And it's in fact quite alarming when you look at the detail of what they are saying. And I can only read the list to you of some of the information around your device that they allow to collect: battery level, signal strength, app version, browser information, mobile network, phone number, mobile operator, language, time zone, IP address. That is incredibly alarming. But it's par for the course in terms of the kind of privacy that you've been giving up for a few years now. If you use almost any Google product, Android plus Google search, for example, that already is a privacy apocalypse. And what Facebook is doing is almost trying to catch up with Google in terms of how cleverly they put together all that information to target you. So what Facebook is really saying is privacy be damned.
Yeah. Well, explain this to me further. Arthur, I'm not actually on Facebook. I've made a decision not to be, but I use WhatsApp. So now you're saying that Facebook can still access what I'm browsing on my search engine on my phone, not even WhatsApp related.
If you're not on Facebook and you have managed to close your Facebook account, which is not that easy either, then this is probably irrelevant to you, because the idea of this is to target you on Facebook when you're using Facebook with the information that's been gathered about your behavior or your usage of both Facebook and WhatsApp. So in effect, it's aggregating the user behavior of Facebook and WhatsApp users in order to target them more effectively on Facebook. But I also believe that the intention is for WhatsApp to become an advertising medium as well in the future. And we shouldn't be surprised if we suddenly are informed and have to again accept terms and conditions that says that we will be shown adverts that are relevant to our interests.
Yeah.
And that'll be pulled from this kind of information.
Is it any relief that Facebook isn't actually reading your WhatsApp messages? I remember when WhatsApp said it would encrypt messages, people were relieved, because the concern about SMSs was that your cell phone provider could read those.
Any messaging or mail service worth its salt should have that kind of provision, that the content of your messages is completely encrypted from end to end. In other words, no one can access it except the person sending it and the person receiving it. If they don't have that, then they shouldn't exist at all. But what's happening now is that people are looking for instant messaging services that are less intrusive and that won't be used to target you. And for example, Telegram, a Russian service, and Signal have both had a massive increase in downloads as a result of the Facebook move. But I think there's one other aspect that people are not seeing here either, and that is that Facebook is already in the crosshairs of the antitrust authorities in the United States. The Federal Trade Commission, as well as the attorneys general of 48 states, have opened an antitrust suit against Facebook regarding the Instagram acquisition and how they combine that information. So this is almost showing a finger to the antitrust authorities by, at a time like this, introducing these kinds of terms and conditions.
Well, we know. I mean, once they've got the information, they've got the information. So it's good to just move quickly. What would you say? You said this was a privacy apocalypse. What would you say to people right now who are concerned about their privacy, who use WhatsApp and Facebook, I guess?
The primary message is that you should have been concerned about your privacy all along. From the moment you started using a smartphone with Android or iOS, that's on Apple devices, and the moment you started downloading apps and using them, you were giving permission for various pieces of information to be shared by the provider of the apps, as well as by Google and Apple and the like. Even now, the Google Play Store still allows developers to require you to give permission to access various bits of information from your cell phone that are not relevant to the app. And I believe this is also an area where Google will increasingly come under fire. But the reality is your privacy was compromised a long time ago. Yeah. The only way to really get away from this kind of situation is to stop using a smartphone altogether. But the compromise is to try to wean yourself off those services that are the most intrusive. Very difficult, and most people will say, well, for the sake of free services, I'll accept the advertising.
Yeah. It's almost become like a trade-off. You either be networked into the world, people are even using WhatsApp for business now, or you stand alone, you protect your privacy, but you won't have that social network anymore.
Yes, there's a popular cliche that says that if you're not paying for the product, you are the product. So by using it for free, you are tacitly giving permission for yourself to be sold. And if you don't like that, then stop using it. It's as simple as that.
And just quickly, before we let you go, you mentioned Telegram, run by the Russians. So how do you know what other services you could trust and that they won't be invading your privacy down the line?
There are a lot of reviews online. You can do a search on Google, ironically, to find which are the most secure of these messaging apps. And there are reliable sites that rate them for their security. And Telegram and Signal tend to come up the highest. There are others as well, but they're very obscure. And chances are very few of your friends and contacts will be using them. So that's the real trade-off. And the reason most people will carry on using WhatsApp is that all their friends and contacts are on WhatsApp. But the more they find that they can power with Telegram, the more they'll reduce their usage of WhatsApp. So I think it's going to be a WhatsApp versus Telegram battle in the same way that Zoom came along to take on Microsoft Teams and Microsoft Skype, for example.
Okay, that'll be something interesting to watch. Thank you very much. It's not alleviating those privacy concerns, saying it's a privacy apocalypse, what's going on. That's the MD of Worldwide Works, Arthur Goldstuck. Now, poor internet connection